So I thought as part of, well, it's not even Halloween, but it's funny, the Haunted Mansion movie's coming out and it's July. That movie's going to make no money. I'm going to see it. I will put out my review when I see it. But I just find that movie has everything going against it. It's coming out the week after Oppenheimer and Barbie. Almost certainly, everyone's going to go see Oppenheimer and Barbie. Who wants to see a remake of the Haunted Mansion? It just doesn't have anything going for it. I know I'm kind of going off topic, but I want to talk about horror or Halloween movies. There's a movie I want to review called I Was a Teenage Werewolf. Really interesting title, really kind of classic vibes to it. I was interested in this film because I heard this is where Stephen King got the inspiration to write his 1965 short story, I Was a Teenage Grave Robber. And as someone who just loves the history of horror and loves just seeing where, a lot of movies start. Also, I love watching old movies. I was very interested in this film. Here's the poster for it. Very old, but at the same time, guys, I Was a Teenage Werewolf is a very silly movie. It's very dated. There are good old movies, and then there are bad old movies. I don't know if you guys have heard of The Drive-In Massacre, or perhaps White Zombie. Two of those, or one of them is good, one of them is terrible. Drive-In Massacre sucks. It's a 1970s horror movie. It has pretty much no story, just a bunch of murders occur. There's a bunch of weird people who work in a drive-in theater. I like the setting of it. I like the aesthetic. But that's a case where, again, that just completely overrules any type of good story. Kind of like the opposite of the new Flash movie, where you actually have some potential interesting stuff, but it's just buried underneath shitty, laughable CG. I'm getting off topic, but I just wanted to talk about I Was a Teenage Werewolf and just discuss how you could actually make a good movie, but this movie is just really cheesy. It's directed by Gene Fowler Jr. It's from 1957, and the story is about a hypnotherapist who uses a temperamental teenager as a guinea pig for a serum which transforms him into a vicious werewolf. Now, it's very, very cheesy. Michael Landon stars in this movie. A lot of people know him from Little House on the Prairie. And I kind of found a lot of the dialogue in this to be really cheesy, especially when his dad is telling him, oh, sometimes you just gotta do what the bigger man wants you to do. It has a lot of old 1950s hokey dialogue, and just the way they talk, it feels very dated. And it's like when you watch The Twilight Zone and you're like, this is a little dated, but, there's still a good lesson here. And then sometimes you watch The Twilight Zone and you're like, oh, this is just dumb as fuck. Like the episode where the guy turns into Hitler in his bunker and you're just like, what? But with I Was a Teenage Werewolf, it explores all the cool, tropes of what happened if you were a teenager and you become a werewolf. But I do think that it's so silly in a way that, movies from the 50s were, and then you had better movies. Like I said, you had movies like White Zombie, which is actually from the 30s, but you had good movies that, might be a little dated, but still stand out or just, hold up. This movie is not like that. It's very dumb. It has really bad special effects. The transformation scenes are what you'd expect from the time. The editing in 1957 is editing in 1957, but overall, I just thought this was kind of a so bad it's good movie. Check it out if you want to watch something fun. Watch the MST3K version. I mean, I watched the beginning of this movie, then I just watched the MST3K version because I'm I'd like to be able to just enjoy it and have some jokes going on. But let me know what you guys think if you see it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take it easy.